WGSN-DB, the Going Solo Network presents the Relationship Ready Mind Talk Show with transformational life coach, Angela Kane.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Relationship Ready Mind Talk Show. You're listening to WGSN-DB, the Going Solo Network. My name's Angela Kane, and I'm a transformational and relationship coach, mentor, and spiritual teacher. And today we're going to talk about how you can get yourself feeling better if you're not feeling too great at the moment or are having some difficulties in your life. If you're unhappy with something and are looking for change, then please do stick around to the end of the show, because I'm sure you'll find the information useful that I have for you today. I 100% believe that there are no accidents in life, and you are meant to find your way here and be listening today. And have you ever felt trapped, unhappy, unfulfilled, like the fun is over for you and all that's left is to grow old gracefully? Let's imagine for just a moment that every morning you wake up and feel excited about what that day will bring, what interesting people you may connect with, how the traffic on your way to work will flow, and no one will try to cut you up. You arrive at work with a smile on your face, feeling relaxed and eagerly looking forward to the day ahead, instead of stressed out and anxious about what might happen. Just transport yourself to that place for a moment and imagine how you might feel if most of your days turned out that way. Life wouldn't feel such an uphill struggle when or if you encounter difficult or challenging people or situations. You'd handle them better. You'd learn to respond instead of to react. And things just won't get to you the same way they used to. How amazing would it feel for those sorts of days to be normal, and the stressful getting out of bed on the wrong side kind of days happening less and less? In fact, hardly at all. How excited would you feel about your life then? Would you be happier? Would you be less stressed and anxious? Would you have more energy? I think the answer is probably yes. Or is your life more like this? You don't like your job, but you're scared to leave because of the security and the benefits. You're afraid to leave your marriage that's been dead for years because you're afraid you won't meet anyone else and you don't want to be on your own. You think getting older means you can't remember things. You don't feel attractive anymore and think the world is an unfriendly place. And most people are out for what they can get. So let me ask you, what are you tolerating? One of the biggest drains on our energy and vitality is the toleration of situations and occurrences in our life, both big and small, that feel like contraction every time we experience or observe them. Tolerate is a verb meaning allow the existence, occurrence, or practice of something that one does not necessarily like or agree with, without interference. So what are you tolerating or putting up with in your life that's draining your energy? Many of us tend to tolerate such things as clutter when we'd really like an orderly, clear space, or items hanging around that need to be fixed, and projects that aren't getting completed both at home and at work. And on a larger scale, many people put up with jobs that are boring and unfulfilling, relationships that aren't mutually beneficial, and even health issues. So what is it for you? So just try this exercise at some point today. Set some time aside to be alone and have pen and paper handy, and just ask yourself the following questions and write down your answers. And this will help you get some clarity. So ask yourself, what do I want? What is a difficult or troubling situation in my life right now? What costs do I pay for keeping it like it is? What am I pretending not to know? And what actions could I take to make my life better? And when will I do that? So why do we feel this way? Well, the problem is we have all been subjected to negative programming throughout our lives that we're not even aware of. We have limiting beliefs. We're totally unaware of how powerful we really are. Many of us have become stuck and can't seem to move forward no matter how hard we try, whether this is in our marriage, our relationship, our job, or a difficult financial situation that we're facing. Whatever the case may be, we stay there and settle for that, feeling life has dealt us a pretty rough hand, but we feel powerless to change it because we don't know that we can. For every deep subconscious belief that we have, our brains form evidence and opinions to support those beliefs, which makes us feel even more helpless to change. But here's the good news. What if I were to tell you that it does not have to be that way? You don't just have to put up with it. There are solutions, and you can have more energy, change your career in midlife. You can find a loving partner and have a fabulous, fulfilled relationship later in life. And you can discover that the world is, in fact, a wonderful place. That might happen for some, but not for me, I can hear you saying. Well, I'm here to tell you that it most definitely can happen for you. And how do I know that? Because I've seen it over and over and over again in my own life and in the lives of the many women that I've worked with. Okay, so what's the answer? Well, the answer is pretty simple. You just need to change your mindset and your focus so that you can see the opportunities that are out there. Now, I said this was simple, but I didn't say it was easy. It does take effort on your part, but the effort is well worth making, as it can and will change the rest of your life. How can changing my mindset and my thoughts change my life, you may ask? Well, are you aware that how you think determines every area of your life? Did you know that we're constantly being bombarded with millions of bits of information via our five senses, most of which we're not aware of because we filter them out through a part of our brain called the reticular activating system? Did you know that if you frown, it has a chemical reaction in your brain and also sets off a chemical reaction in the brain of the person you're frowning at? How amazing is that? But you can take charge of your life with a decision to change. A little knowledge, and by introducing some simple but effective tools. Believe it or not, we humans are infinitely powerful beings. Just stop and think about the amazing intellectual factors that we have. Our intellectual factors are our memory, our intuition, reason, imagination, perception, and will. And we actually have two minds, whether you're aware of that or not. Well, we have three really, but that's another story. So for now, let's use the analogy of our two minds, our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. And everything we think reflects in our life. James Allen, the author, told us that in 1902 when he famously said, "We think in secret and it comes to pass. Environment is but our looking glass." In other words, once you become aware of what's stopping you achieve the life you want to have, it stops having power over you. Having awareness will enable you to make powerful, conscious choices about your life that will bring you closer to what truly makes you happy. This is because consciousness and awareness directs everything in our life. Just think about this important concept for a second. You can have whatever you want in life to the extent that you're willing to pay for it. and what you have to pay with, is not what you think. No, it's not money. It's your attention. Yes, your attention. Because where your attention goes, energy flows. And to achieve anything, we have to put our energy behind it. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break now. And when we come back, I'll have a little experiment for you. So don't go anywhere.
You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, Singles Talk Radio Channel, where we take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of relationship loss, divorce, parenting, being single, relationships building, dating, and yes, sex. Join our listeners and begin living your best life.
Hello and welcome back to the Relationship Ready Mind Talk Show with me, Angela Kane. And so before the break, we were talking about where your attention goes, your energy flows. So let's just explore this a little bit further. And what I want you to do is to do a simple experiment. It will take literally less than 2 minutes. So play along and try this little experiment. Okay, so just have a look around the room or the area you're in right now. And I want you to notice as many things as possible that are blue. Don't write them down. Just take a few moments to look around and notice all the things that are blue. So I'll just give you a moment to do that now. Okay, so when you're satisfied that you've found as many blue things as possible, I want you to close your eyes and count on your fingers all of the different objects or things you remember being blue. No peeking. Once you've finished, make a mental note of how many things you came up with. Ready? Okay, open your eyes. Now, close them again and think about how many objects you saw that were yellow. My guess is that you found significantly more blue objects than yellow objects. So the question is, why did you find more blue objects? The answer is simple. You were looking for blue objects. It was your focus and intention to find blue objects. So that's exactly what you did. The same things happen in life. The important question to consider now is, what is it that you're really spending your time focusing on? Are you spending most of your time thinking about the things you want? Or is it that you spend most of your waking hours worrying about the things you don't want, that you don't want to happen? How rubbish your job is and how hard life is, and isn't it strange how all these problems seem to happen to me? Are those the sorts of things you're thinking on a daily basis? Once you become aware of what you're thinking about, you can then start to switch your focus onto the things you do want in your life instead. That immediately shifts your focus and removes you from the place of pain. As Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This is such a powerful concept on its own that it can have a massive impact on your life. In my experience of coaching people, most people don't have a clue about what they think about all day long. And when we're not controlling our thoughts, they are controlling us. Many people that consistently have negative thoughts are not even aware of it. We cause damage to ourselves, but we don't know it. Even studies have shown that people who are positive live longer and are much less likely to develop serious illness. When you have a negative thought, your brain actually thinks there is a real threat happening outside of you. The more positivity you immerse yourself in, the better. Even if it's daydreaming about fantasies that haven't happened, you can retrain your mind to become an optimist. and it all starts with awareness. Optimism actually extends your life. Apart from that, positive thoughts set off the feel-good hormones in our body, which make us feel so much better. Our brains work very much like the World Wide Web. When you go to Google and search for a specific word or phrase, within a matter of seconds, you'll be presented with all the possible matches for the criteria you entered. All of the millions of other pages of information are left out. You pulled up only what you were looking for. The search engine translated your request and delivered possible solutions to you based on what you asked for. Your mind and nervous system works in much the same way. In the exercise you did a short while ago when you were looking for blue objects, that's what you found. You punched in blue into the search engine and your reality came alive with blue objects. If you did the exercise, you will have realized that all the other colors around you melted away as you sought out blue because your focus was blue. When your focus shifted to the other question, you realized you didn't see all the other objects and things that fit that description. Why? Because you weren't looking for them. Once again, it's completely dependent on the individual as to what information is processed and what information is not. The greatest challenge we have is that approximately 95% of our programming is at the subconscious level. All this means is that you're probably not aware of what is keeping you from living the life that you really want to live. Another reason for switching your thoughts to the positive is a host of exciting research that's shown attitude greatly affects our health. So much so that a positive attitude can add years to your life. A 30-year study of 477 people at the Mayo Clinic in Florida found that optimists had around a 50% lower risk of early death than pessimists. The study's conclusion: mind and body are intrinsically linked, and attitude has an impact on the final outcome, death. This was further compounded by a Yale University study that asked 660 elderly people whether they agreed that we become less useful as we age. Those who didn't agree and therefore had the most positive attitude about aging lived an average of 7.5 years longer than those with the most negative attitude towards aging, who agreed that we become less useful as we age. It was also shown in a Dutch study at the University of Leiden in The Hague that examined the attitudes and longevity of 999 people over the age of 65. The study reported a protective relationship between optimism and mortality. People with a positive attitude quite simply lived longer. They even had a 77% lower risk of heart disease than pessimists. So why do people live longer? Why do positive people live longer? Well, mostly it's because they get less stressed in day-to-day life. When something doesn't go quite to plan, a person with a positive attitude might just deal with it or even look for another solution. But a person with a negative attitude will typically complain more, get angry or frustrated, and they'll expend a lot of energy going over and over in their heads what's happened and how much it is a real inconvenience and or a problem for them. Inside the body, the difference between the two is stress. This is something we all know about, but stress is only part of the equation that describes the physical impact of a negative attitude. Regular stress causes inflammation. Everybody has heard of inflammation. If you cut yourself, the wound becomes red and swollen. That's inflammation. And it plays a key role in wound healing because it helps to draw blood and nutrients to the wound site to facilitate repair. But inflammation also occurs inside the body. You just don't see it. It's a side effect of too much stress and or positive lifestyle choices. It has a hand in most known diseases, most typically heart disease and cancer. It even speeds up aging. So much so that it's been called a major ager. It's a phenomenon that ages the body fast. So what can we do? How do we turn our minds to more positive things? Well, you can just try a few simple steps for a start. Make a list of 5 things that you're grateful for that have happened in the last 24 hours. And do this every day for 30 days. Challenge yourself to go a week without complaining, moaning, or criticizing. Try to stay in the present moment and not let your mind wander to what's happening tomorrow, or next week, or next year. Do you have a tendency to make mountains out of molehills? Well, try making molehills out of mountains for a week. Try some deep abdominal breathing for 5 minutes twice a day. Deep breathing gives us energy and lowers our heart rate and blood pressure. Just these simple techniques don't sound like much, but if they become a habit, they'll be some of the best habits you've ever adopted, because they might just add years to your life. And how do I know all this, you might ask? Well, I can tell you that I have been there, done that, and felt the deep pain of rejection. In fact, I was so afraid of rejection that it stopped me doing and having so many things in my life, as I was too afraid to go after them, just in case. I wanted 100% guarantee that I would get that job, get that relationship, and that person to love me. And of course, if we wait for 100% certainty, we'll be waiting for a very long time, as I was. And what makes me qualified to help? Well, I'm someone that's known great heartbreak, pain, and fear, loneliness, and a deep sense of separation, a feeling that I didn't belong. I felt that I'd never have a lasting and successful relationship. I suffered low self-esteem and lack of confidence. My journey to awareness started about 20 years ago when I was in Kansas City on a works convention. And one of the speakers at the convention was talking about the thought process and how you can change your mind and think more positive thoughts. I was completely blown away and on a high for the rest of my time there. I never realized that you could actually choose what to think, but it made me realize that the change had to happen inside me. I realized that the answers were all within me and that it was I that had to change if I wanted to change my life. And so change I did. I've totally transformed my life now. I'm a certified transformational coach, qualified NLP practitioner. I'm in the latter stages of a doctoral degree in metaphysical psychology. I've helped many, many people turn their lives around. And I can quickly help you to transform your life too, if that's the sort of thing that you're requiring at the moment. During my training in NLP, I learned that a pattern shown is a pattern blown. We create it all. Everything that happens in our life, we create it. I know that it may seem absolutely ridiculous to you, but I can assure you that it's 100% true. So I'm going to say it again. We create everything in our life. All the good and also all the bad. And there's no one to blame here, because most of it happens at the subconscious level. And when you finally come to realize this, everything in your life will start to change. We're only here on this planet for a very short time. Our lives are so precious and we waste them being miserable, worrying about tomorrow and next week and next year and what's going to happen when I retire, and on and on and on it goes. And our lives are passing us by in the process. So start living the life you want to live now. Stop saving the good china for the special occasion. Every day you're alive is a special occasion. Every second, every breath is a gift. Don't waste another minute. Don't be in the same place this time next year as you are today if you're not happy at the moment. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. So make a decision to change the way you think, and in the process, your life will change. And here's just a few of the benefits you'll gain. You'll gain clarity on where you are now and where you want to be. You'll learn the difference between reacting to a situation and responding to a situation, and how that puts you in control. You'll learn to challenge your beliefs. Your belief system is based upon your evaluation of something. And frequently, when we reevaluate a situation, our belief about that situation will change. All change occurs at the subconscious level. If it does not occur at the subconscious level, it's only temporary, and you will revert back to your old patterns of behaviour. Okay, so let's reflect for a second. Suppose that all I've said so far is correct, and I promise you it is. Far greater minds than mine have proven it. So the question is, what does this mean for you? Well, it means you don't have to settle for less than you want. It means that you have the opportunity to change any and every aspect of your life starting right now. You can absolutely reconnect with who you really are. You can uncover and eliminate barriers you have consciously created. You can achieve fundamental change at the deepest level of your being, change that will become inseparable from your thoughts and actions. You can identify your life's purpose and goals and the motivating factors that inspire you. A journey to discovering you is the most precious of destinations. To find your true self, you can't put a price on your health and happiness. It's priceless. You honour your own power when you take responsibility for the situations in your life. So, if you want to be happy, vibrant and excited about life every day, if you want to feel peace and serenity pretty much 24/7, if you want to attract and live the kind of life or relationship that you've always dreamed of, if you want to have more confidence and raise your self-esteem, if you want to put yourself first without feeling uncomfortable or embarrassed, then take some action today. Don't just listen to this and then do nothing. Do something. Even if it's only one of the things I've mentioned, at least you're taking action and moving forward. We cannot stand still in life. The universe is forever changing. If we're not expanding, we're contracting. So don't waste another minute of your precious life being unhappy when you can turn your life around and live the life you want to live. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. So make today the day that you take that step. And I can assure you that if you embark on a journey of transformation, play full out, your life will change like night and day. So thank you so much for listening today. I do hope you've enjoyed the show. And if you would like some help with whatever's bothering you in your life at the moment, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can email me at angela@angelakane.com, or you can contact me via my website, which is angelakane.com, or you can simply click on the Ask Angela button on this page. So please do drop me a line and let me know how you're getting on. I'd love to hear from you. You're listening to WGSN-DB, the Going Solo Network. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today, and I look forward to talking to you next week about something that's equally as important for your health and well-being. So take care and bye for now.